Double. Oh, what's it?
Toil.
In trouble? Like toilets in trouble. Double. Toil in trouble. Ooh.
Hi everyone, welcome to this special video.
It's special.
Hi everyone, welcome to this video. Today's a special edition video. We're going to try out a really cool Halloween DIY that we found online. Today we're going to try to make a bubbling witch's cauldron and see how we do.
Yeah, some of these supplies that you'll see us using today. We've got some orange mini lights here. We've got some oats. You'll see why. Oh, wow. Great stuff.
In case we get hungry, maybe.
Yeah, it's a little snack. Great stuff. Expanding foam. We've got some Podge. We've got some paint. Some spray paints. We've got a red. We've got a black. We've got a chain. We've also got this. It's a large. What do you call these? This is a planter.
It's a tray for a planter.
Yeah.
And of course, we're gonna need our cauldron. The first thing we're gonna do is kind of decorate it a little. This looks a little too nice.
Yeah.
And new. We want to make it look gross.
Throw some oatmeal on it with some Mod Podge.
Let's see how it goes. Okay, so we spray painted our cauldrons a little bit, but they still look way too nice, so we're gonna make them look really gross now. We're gonna use a mixture of oatmeal, oats, and Mod Podge, and kind of make it look like this cauldron's been used for a long time, like a lot of potions have boiled and bubbled over. So we'll mix up the oats and the Mod Podge and kind of just smear it around the top and make it look like it's dripping down the sides.
Yeah.
So for our oatmeal and Mod Podge mixture, we played around with this a little bit until we found a consistency that we liked. We ended up using a little bit more Mod Podge and less oatmeal, and then we just used an old paintbrush to kind of slop it on there and make it look really messy and like it was boiling over. And then once we found a design that we liked and we thought it looked good, we just let it sit for a while to dry completely.
All right, so our oatmeal and Mod Podge has dried, and what we did was we also put a light coat of flat black spray paint over this. So all our oatmeal and Mod Podge is all kind of just dry underneath that black paint.
Now we're going to use some acrylic paint to make the cauldron look even like older and rusty and just kind of used. So we're going to do that by going in and painting big splotches of black and brown paint all over. There's no like real method or like pattern to follow. You're just kind of going in and making it look old and dirty and used.
Yeah. Now to get these cauldrons to look used and weathered, we wanted to just pick out some like rust tones. So we looked at different browns that we had, and grays, blacks, metallic colors. And what we found here was that really watering down the paint and applying them in different layers. It's not going to look exactly like rust right off the start, like one layer in, but as you kind of add layer upon layer, it'll help to make that rust look real.
And then after the cauldrons looked nice and rusty, we went in with sort of the grossest green color we could find and just did the same thing and focused on painting those oatmeal splotches with the green color to make it look like stuff had been dripping out for a long time.
At this point, it was time to make the holes for our chain to hold up the cauldron. We chose 3 different spots equally distant around the diameter of the cauldron and drilled a hole for the chain to go into. So the cauldron that we are making is going to be sitting over some hot coals of fire. And we're going to try to use the expanding foam with the lights kind of method. Now I'm using actually a 2-liter bottle cut off to kind of give a little bit more height. I also have a candle that a LED bulb that mimics how a candle flickers, I'm going to try and put that somewhere underneath here along with the mini orange lights. So that's why I'm using this one.
I'm going to go for more of a look of just some smoldering coals underneath, not building up like a fire like Mike's doing. So I've got a little container here just to give me a little bit of height in the middle so it doesn't come out totally flat. But I'm mostly just going to make a big pile of foam and see how it goes. So our goal with the spray foam was just to go in and cover all the lights completely, and that way once it dried and set, the lights would be embedded into the foam and we would have one nice piece that could sit underneath the cauldron. The only thing we made sure of was not to cover the lights with too much foam, to pile it too high or too thick, because you still want the lights to be able to shine through once you're done. So we have our lights in our foam and it's set, it's nice and stiff now. But we want to use some spray paint to add to this to make it look like actual coals or fire. So we're going to use some red and some black spray paint to kind of just give this the effect of some smoldering coals. And so when it's sitting outside in the daytime, it still looks like coals and not like foam. Right now, in the dark, this looks pretty good. But when we turn the lights on, it kind of doesn't look as good. So we're going to add some paint to make it look a little bit more realistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it. Look at us. Now to hold up our cauldron, we had some wood stakes here that we painted black. You could use tree stakes, you could use metal conduit, you could also use PVC, and you could paint that. We just needed to make a tripod.
And then once we had those, we just went in with some twine or some rope. Anything will work, really. You can even zip tie these together and then use some twine or something to cover it up to give it more of the authentic look. Now at this point we technically had a cauldron that looked pretty good, and you can stop here if you want, but we wanted to make our cauldron bubble and look really realistic, so we bought some ultrasonic misters off of Amazon, and then we spray painted our planter tray so that it could sit right in the top of our cauldron. And when we set up the mister on the top there, it kind of gives the effect of fog or something coming out of the cauldron. And now with sort of all your pieces finalized, it's time to just put your cauldron together. What I'm doing here is I've just got an old laundry basket inside the cauldron to prop up that tray. And the reason I did that instead of attaching it permanently to the cauldron was so that I could have separate dishes on top for the misters, and then I could also add in an extra LED light to give it a cool lighting effect. It also helps with the weight issue. There's not as much water sitting in the cauldron and putting weight on those chains or the poles that you're using. And then the final step really was just to drill a hole in the side of the cauldron so the wires from the mister and the light would have somewhere to go. And then we set it all up. And here you can see we chose to light it from the front with one more LED. And as a final result, we think it looks pretty cool.